You see, to understand nutrition, one has to use only those substances that are electrical. The only substance on this planet that are electrical are the products that came with creation.
Yeah. Welcome back to
Okay.
Community 83, America's best #1 alkaline herbalist panel and podcast. Yeah. So the topic for today, we got the biochemistry behind alkaline healing herbs, being led by the one and only Mrs. Glenrose. So first question we have is, why would one herb heal so many ailments?
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Glenrose, as you have introduced me very beautifully. Thank you. I am loving being a part of this community. Okay, why would one herb heal many ailments? That question can be answered nice and fair, looking at an herb as an energetic instead of it healing a disease. What I mean by that is, in the olden days, they used to use energetics because they didn't have laboratories to define or to analyze an herb and find out what minerals are in a particular herb. Okay, now to explain why would one herb heal many ailments or heal many diseases, it is because of the reaction you get from the herb. I will make a few examples with it. When you chew on a capsicum or chewing on a cayenne pepper, immediately when you chew it, you start your body, it raises your energies, or it raises your temperature high, and you start watering from your eyes, from your mouth, from your nose. It means it releases the mucus from your system. So to know herbs, that's exactly how you will actually know how or what it would do inside, because whatever that's inside of our skin is also on the inside. So to actually know herbs, you have to taste them and find the reaction to an herb to know and understand what it would do in your body. So some herbs, they constrict, some they dilate. It depends on what ailment you are actually experiencing. For instance, if one person has piles, wild willow bark would actually work to cure piles and also cure a cough and also cure, just counting a couple of things and help in pain as well. Just to mention a few things that it helps with. But then when you're looking at wild willow bark, you're thinking, why is this herb helping in so many things? Is it a hit and guessing kind of like thing? You are trying a herb, or is it really working in all those ailments? It is working in those ailments. They are quite related. And the reason why the piles will be related to your flu and also the pain is because there is some mucus that has to be taken out of your system. When you take the mucus out of the system, that herb will help to lessen the pain because the mucus is out of the system. I don't know if you guys are following me.
Yeah, like inflammation. Yes, the inflammation is the mucus. It's the same thing. So when you have excess mucus or excess inflammation, that's what causes the pain. That's what causes arthritis. It's calcification buildup.
Absolutely, yes. So that one herb would be helping in all those. So it's basically, the herbs are for the healing of this nation. That one herb is helping to actually take out the mucus, the inflammation out, the pain is lessened, the piles are back to normal. Now coming to the biochemistry of the herb, you have to look at the minerals that are in the herb to understand how they relate with each other. I can even make an example. I know we don't believe in protein. We don't do, protein. We don't do vitamins and all that. But to make an example, you go to a doctor and the doctor tells you that you need protein in your system, you're lacking protein in your system, then they prescribe to you a pill that is high in protein content.
Yeah.
But in nature, protein needs vital mineral K, which is potassium. Protein needs potassium to be processed. The doctor is prescribing protein to you, but not the potassium.
Exactly.
How is the protein going to be processed in your system?
You know what? That's a good point.
It's definitely, yes. It's not, and this is, again, your body is connected, right? Like the Queen there explained so well. Everything is connected, right? So in actuality, these so-called diseases are just symptoms of the disconnect. Dis-ease,
Yes.
you're disconnected.
Yes.
So what's happening, right, what's happening, you got inflammation, you got mucus, you got blockages. All these things are causing, again, the symptoms that people are calling diseases. So if you take a herb, for instance, like you were talking about, that would go in your system, open up your system, right? Let's say open up your digestive system. If the digestive tract is blocked up, clogged up, right? You have a whole lot of other symptoms are showing up, including pain in other areas, inflammation, right? And you just clogged up. So when you take this herb, it would open up the digestive system, and at the same time, this will cause everything to open up, right? You open this, so you open your chest up. Once the digestion it sits on each other. So the colon opens this up, then open the head up and the brain, right? So you have multiple symptoms that are only associated with your colon. So if you take this one herb, right, it fixes all these other symptoms that you have that you were calling diseases. So like you were saying, that's how it's all connected. And that's why all these diseases are actually the same thing, right? Most people are lacking the minerals that they need. For instance, you were talking about potassium and a whole bunch of other minerals that are essential. The foods that we are consuming nowadays don't have proper balance of these minerals. So we are lacking these minerals, and they're showing up in our bodies as what we would call symptoms, right? It's your body telling you, hey, there's a problem here. The same you mentioned our ancestors, how they used to know different herbs for different situations. They did their tests and trials to kind of identify some of these plants, right? They even did tests, which you can, they had knowledge that, were kind of beyond what today books can teach anybody, right? They was connected there, right? But in actuality, if you look at it, you might have a deficiency or some type of mineral somewhere, because that's all the plants are, right? All plants are just, broken down into minerals, down to it. That's the most state of life that we are able to consume without hurting ourselves. Once you start breaking down from minerals and getting to elements, those will hurt you. But minerals is where the beginning of life becomes.
Why is it so important to know the chemical makeup of an herb, at least one active ingredient, or at least just one active mineral that's in that herb, and that's the answer right there, why it's so important. You want to know what minerals, because if you have a deficiency of a mineral, you want to know what herb do you take to increase that mineral deficiency. If you have a calcium deficiency, it might be a good idea to take hydrangea root or sea moss or calcium containing herbs.
And then I think it definitely makes it easier for people to customize their experience. So when you first get into taking herbs, you may just, this sounds good, let me take this, or it may just be available to you. So you're like, I want to start taking that. But I think when someone's beginning their journey, it's good to understand what you need.
Why is it important to know the active minerals that are in an herb? So we were saying it helps so that you know how to treat the problem at hand. I'll call it a problem. It helps so that you may know how to give help to the person who is in need of the help. let's say somebody is struggling with their blood issue. So you have to know what what mineral is in the blood so that you can supplement accordingly. So let's say iron, for instance, if a person has issues with their iron, you know that, of course, or rather with their blood, you know that you have to supplement them with iron. I don't know, we've talked a little bit about it prior to this. So just to sum it up, it's quite important so that we can get results that are desired.
Our ancestors learned enough and bumped their heads enough learning through trial and error and probably experiencing a lot of death, trying to play doctor, you know, and mix and match stuff that they didn't even really have knowledge. But now we're so blessed because we have like a storehouse of knowledge that was left behind to us, you know, that we can look to.
Absolutely.
Quite an interesting story to tell about our ancestors as far as learning how the herbs actually worked in our system. And as I was saying earlier on, that it's important to taste the herb to know what it's going to do in the body. So apparently what they would do is actually also all the plants that you're seeing out there are herbs, all of them. And as much as we think that some are poisonous and some are not, it just depends on how much you are taking of an herb, you understand? So what they would do is they knew what herb to take to counteract whatever the other herb did. So they would taste the herb, or they would take a herb, and if they overdosed on the one herb, they knew what other herb to take to counteract the overdosage of the herb, you understand?
Yeah, bring it down. Yeah.
To bring it down so that it doesn't kill the person. So, you know, obviously they came a long way, and it goes to figure animals are actually in the wild, they take herbs, you know, and as much as people believe that they have a different system to ours, I believe that they are taking quite a lot of those herbs and they are not dying, but they are using their senses. Their senses are still intact. Our senses are not.
The first Aboriginal man, herbalists, all of that, like they learned from nature. They learned from the animals that was in the jungle, you know, like such as, just real quick, the mongoose. The mongoose in the jungle would get into the fight with the snake. Y'all heard of that? Yeah. Y'all, have y'all heard of that?
I have seen it
in the snake fighting. Yeah. So when the snake would bite the mongoose would scurry off, run off, right? And run off into the woods. And it would find, it was the leaves of a plantain tree. The plantain banana. It would find that, and it would bite on it, release the juices from the plantain leaves, and then rub the bitten or affected area that the snake bit him on. It would rub that in it, you know what I'm saying? And then basically that juice of that plantain leaf would suck up the venom or the poison, you know? And so pretty much like man has researched the hell out of animals out in the wild, in the jungle, so that they can try to put together, okay, well, if plantain leaf worked for that mongoose, let me see if it'll work for us. And guess what? It does.
Guys, that's after we became blind. There was a time we used to see, all right? And now with your eyes. What I mean seeing is you knew, right? Plants used to talk to you. Animals used to talk to you. You could hear what they're telling you. You could vibrate on the level to a point that you know, right? Even with the herbs, you can do stress testing with herbs. Where you touch the herb and you can tell how strong it is, right?
Yes.
Again, most of these plants, right, past that and down to the physical world, they are pretty much just minerals, just like the queen said. They are everything is a herb. As a matter of fact, I think the conversation should be everything is minerals, right? It's not herbs, because once you bring the herbs, people now start thinking about all these things that they don't understand. But
they associate it with the disease.
Right. All they are their minerals. That's all plants ever did, was pull the minerals out of the soil, convert them into something that is soluble, that a human being can consume to get the energy and to survive. If we can understand the broader picture of life to even understand what does that mean, because at the end of it, we are all minerals, and that's what we all consume, including the animal. Most herbs have the whole world in it. You know, like for example, something like CMOS, right? They have all these minerals, but the main active mineral in it is calcium, right?
Calcium,
You have all the other one combined together to make it so powerful, and they all work together. Just like you said, potassium, right? Or something like a case that I was dealing with, a case recently. A lady who don't consume meat, right? Don't consume animal product, but her cholesterol levels are high. We couldn't figure out what was going on till recently. We figured due to low sunlight, due to low, this they call vitamin D, that's what they call it.
Yeah.
That's what was raising her cholesterol. You see, so now you understand what you need to put in the body just to bring the balance back up, right? Somebody who doesn't know just gonna throw pills out, just cholesterol pills or whatever they do, right? But understanding what is in an herb, for example, an iron herb. If you go to the doctor and the doctor tell you, hey, you look in your iron, right? And one thing I tell people, the place actually to start your healing process is to do a blood work. So you can know your body. You can know what you have, what you are deficient at, and what you like, and do a full blood work. Right? They will give you a roadmap. Again, now we are blind. We don't have those intuitions that we used to have. Back then, man, they used to, even people like Dr. Sebi, people who were close to Dr. Sebi will tell you, he'll look at you and tell you what you're missing, right? And if you listen to him, his message wasn't just straight from him. You got codes that are coming in, right? That are directing. One thing people doesn't understand is healing is not for everybody, and a lot of people, kind of get baffled by it because they get in it like a business. I want to get into the healing business to make money, right? And you realize, no. yeah. It's a little deeper than that. But again, to understand the herbs, you have to learn the herbs. You have to know what they're capable, how they help somebody. And the active ingredient is so important, because if somebody is deficit with calcium, iron, or the organs. Again, organs are made of minerals, right? If an organ is a deficit, right, you want to look for the herb that have that type of mineral to address the organ.
Definitely. So, so why is it so important to stick to proper ratios in regards to herbal intake, so that you can promote healing and avoid over healing or over supplementing?
We are the organs. The organs are important to know. Your brain. I remember at some point Dr. Sebi was talking about how the copper brush was rubbing so that it produces the electricity. So it's important, obviously, that brain, for it to produce anything at all, it shows that it is healthy when the copper brushes are rubbing on each other. It's copper and iron, I believe, rubbing on each other. Then the resonance comes on, and obviously when that happens, that says you've got some fuel, you've got energy, you can run. So the CMOS has all the 102, but 10 are trace minerals. They are trace minerals because the ratio is not the same as the other 92 minerals that are in the CMOS. All the other plants are like that. You now are a healer. When you are a healer, you have to obviously know that, okay, this person needs sodium, they need iron, they need this, they need that. And if I'm going to take sarsaparilla and mix it with guaco and mix it with burdock roots and bladderwrack and whatnot. You have to know the constituents of those minerals that you're putting together, or the plants that you are putting together. So that, let's say, bladderwrack is high in iodine together with CMOS. You are now treating a person who is hyperthyroidism, who's got hyperthyroidism. You have to look at not putting too much of the iodine into the person's system. So basically, your ratios have to be considered, because if you do that, then you are encouraging it to obviously go haywire. Understand?
Mm-hmm. It is very important to know how and what to combine when it comes to herbal combinations. So, like, what are some herbal combinations that are not meant to be put together?
Again, there you go. Again, the queen explained it so well when she was talking about, you know, the active ingredients in a plant, right? Or the active minerals, right? Because that's what it is. So what you want to do, you want to combine the herbs or the minerals that are on the same family, right? Or kind of vibe with the same, you know, the same accord, right? Like the blood or the iron, herbs high in iron. You want to mix those, right? You would
such as like burdock root has iron, and then also yellow dock root has iron.
Right. Those, you can mix those, and at the same time, you see now, the yellow dock, right, have iron, but it also have the capability to clean up the GI tract, right? So you can use it for either one. You can use it for a GI tract. You can use it for the blood. You know which kind of you know, systems you are addressing. If it's the blood, and you know, you use herbs that mix with the blood, right? If it's in this case, like you look at CMOS, what is CMOS not having to make it complete, to make it 103, right? And what we are realizing is the iron compound, the ones that are high in iron. That's the main thing that's really missing, that you can mix with CMOS and you have a very nice mix. And a lot of people are realizing, yes, you can make gels like that are very powerful.
Wow, that's dope. Okay, cool. So that's an idea, or a description of what goes good together. So now let's give the audience some mixes that don't go well with each other. Now, one that I know of, and just right off the top, see, I'm not too researched in this topic just yet. I'm growing in this topic, but one that I know of is guaco. Okay, so payo guaco. Okay. Guaco has about 10% of coumarin in it, which has blood thinning properties. So it is very important that you do not mix guaco with other herbs that have coumarin in it or have any kind of blood thinning properties. All right. So what is it? Is it Advil that has blood thinning properties or something like that? I know it's one of those little over-the-counter pills or something. Is it Advil or something like that? Or aspirin? It's aspirin. Aspirin. Yeah, aspirin has blood-thinning properties. So if you take, if you're on a daily supplement of aspirin and you drink some guaco tea, like, that's hazardous. You know, like, So what are some other herbal combinations that, like, is a no-no? Don't mix this with that.
You cannot mix the herbs that are supporting the blood, or the iron herbs cannot be mixed with the laxative herbs. Meaning, laxative herbs. Because of course, the main reason why you're taking the laxative herbs is for your system to release the toxins, you know, to flush it down. Now, if you are mixing the iron and those laxatives, it counteracts the results. You understand what I mean?
Absolutely. So just for people to like break that down, okay, so laxative herbs would be Cascara sagrada.
Sagrada, you cannot mix it with your sarsaparilla.
Right, sarsaparilla, burdock, yellow dock are iron containing.
Yellow dock is an exception.
Okay, yellow dock
Then
is an exception.
it goes back to understanding, okay, if they belong to the same family or not. Yellow dock is an exception because it can also be a laxative.
Okay.
A mild,
Yeah.
yes, it's a mild. It's a mild laxative.
Yeah, it's a mild. Yes, it's a mild laxative. But basically, the ones that are really strong and pungent and bitter, the bitters cannot be mixed.
Distillation.
They cannot be mixed with your iron or the blood herbs.
Yeah, you said the chelation. Yeah, so that's going to be your blessed
chelation herb,
thistle, your blessed thistle, your rhubarb root, your prodigiosa, your even your cascara sagrada. You know, those are 4 different herbs right there that has laxative properties. So you don't want to mix those with iron containing herbs such as burdock root.